Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe des E-Talk und bei mir ist David Wolfin. Er ist der CEO und Präsident von Avino, Silver and Gold und normalerweise wäre er in Vancouver, wäre jetzt auch eine große Konferenz dort, aber Covid hat das verhindert und deswegen sitze ich zu Hause und der David auch. David, thank you to have time and normally I met you in your office. Yes. At this time. Then normally it's a big conference there in Vancouver, and normally I've been in Vancouver, but at this time, COVID time is not possible. And this coming up to the first question: how the company react on COVID? What's changing on the working? How it looks in the head office? How it looks down at the mine? How you work with COVID?
Well, we've been very cautious. We closed the mine during COVID. We reopened it, and then there was a labor dispute, so that we closed it. We settled the labor dispute, but we're just waiting for the Labor Authority office to open in Mexico City so they can ratify the agreement with the union. But there's no dispute anymore, and there's no cases of COVID at the site. We're bringing people back slowly right now, and we're planning a major project for this year is building a new tailings storage facility. We're calling it TSF number 2. It's fully permitted on private land, and we'll be using state-of-the-art equipment, dry stack tailings, which is the safest, and we'll have 8 to 10 years capacity. And another thing, we put out a new press release on our 43101 resources, and we have about 25 years of mine life, and there's still plenty of opportunity on the property.
So that sounds you are really busy in the next few months.
Absolutely. We've got 2 drill rigs that we own that are being refurbished in the city of Durango. It's about an hour away from the mine site, and it's supposed to arrive possibly by the end of this week or early next week, and then we'll be announcing commencing drilling in February sometime.
Okay. For all the people that don't know where you are based, I have now your presentation on my side too. So Mexico is clear. You work, I think, from the production history from 1974. Was the mine first time in production, and it's run then more than 30 years and so on. So it's unbelievable history, and still you have, what do you say, more than 25 years to go?
Yeah, and open at depth, open on strike, and unexplored areas of the property, which we'll talk about coming up.
It's unbelievable. But this is what mining is. You start some point, and then you're going forward, and you find the best mine next to the other mine, I must say. So that's an old saying.
It's very unique, this property. It's a window in geological terms, which means the veins are exposed on surface, and they come up to the surface. And what's very unique about the property is there's dozens and dozens of veins all over the property with different styles of mineralization, which means they came up millions of years apart. Mm-hmm. So it's a beautiful property. It's been yielding precious metals for almost 500 years. It was the very first mine discovered in the state of Durango in 1558. Captain Iber of Cortez's army claimed to have found a mountain of silver.
Wow.
And the British owned it in the 1800s. And then it closed in the revolution in the early 1900s. And there was no mining there until my father got involved in the late 60s, early 70s, and rebuilt the mine on the old foundations. And so we've been operating it ever since. But there was a gap between 2001 and 2011. But we've had it up and running now for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And there is on page 14 on your presentation, you see all these veins are running through your property. It's unbelievable. And From this, you get your new, or from this veins, you get the new resource calculation, what we have on page 13. So you
On
increase
13, mainly that is the Avino ET mine, Elena Tolosa mine. It's got some of San Gonzalo and the oxide tailings resource, but primarily it's from the main Avino mine. 20 million tons of measured and indicated, and another 6 million tons inferred. So we have a mill that's capable of 2,500 tons per day. So this would suggest 25 years of mine life.
And also one slide on your presentation say your expectation to produce 2021 is around 2.4 million silver equivalent.
2.4 to 2.6 is the range we're looking for this year.
Okay. And when do you expect you restart your mine?
It's slowly starting now in Q1. So we're bringing people back. We've been refurbishing equipment over the past 6 to 8 weeks. So we didn't bring a lot of people back to avoid COVID, to be cautious. So we're bringing people back now. And we're going to start underground mining in the next few weeks. We'll build a stockpile ahead of the mill on surface. We plan to start milling in March.
So that's mean the 2.4 million is not a full year. It's only.
It's the beauty of the current metal prices and the ratios of metals. So there's silver, gold, and copper, and our all-in sustaining costs are estimated to be at $16. That's including corporate overhead. So we expect to generate free cash flow this year, and so we're excited about that. And we're not just stopping there. We're gonna look for new high-grade mineralization, which could increase the output and lower the costs.
Okay, but on the other hand, it's mean 2022, your production should be even higher than you run the whole
Absolutely.
year. Okay.
Absolutely.
And you have now 2 drills that you own these drills, and you will start then now drill the project and also new areas. So especially high grade areas.
If you go to slide 14, you will see we talk about 20 named veins and 50 unknown or unnamed veins. There's 70 that we know of. So, I mean, this property is the gift that keeps giving after 450 years. And if you look at the circle there, and there's arrows going in opposite directions, those represent faults. The faults shifted the ground in opposite directions. So everything in between opened up, and it created a conduit for mineral deposition. So when the solutions came up millions of years ago, it found the least resistance to the surface. And all those names there are old mines, mom and pop mines with no exploration below them. And the thing is, we know that they're highly prospective targets. San Gonzalo, in the middle of the property, was what we reopened with in 2011. And that was a high-grade narrow vein system near the surface. It was averaging between 250 to 300 grams silver and 1.5 grams to 2 grams gold. So it was our all-in sustaining cost corporate-wide at that time was $10. So I mentioned that our all-in sustaining is 16. We want to get her back down to 10. So we're going to go and explore these other areas. We got enough of the bulk tonnage material in the Avino mine, but we're not stopping there. We have enough there for 25 years, but we want to find other high-grade areas. And the beauty of our mill is we have 4 independent circuits. So if the mineralization is different and we have to use different chemicals to treat it, we have the ability to do that.
Okay, that's very interesting. So, so that's mean only from the news flow side is beside the reopening, we will see this year also on the drilling side, exploration side, a lot of news flow.
So we're a hybrid. We're an exploration company and a production company. So you get the best of both worlds, because if we're successful with exploration, we can monetize it faster than a typical exploration company because we have the processing facility on site.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. So, but what always is an issue is the shareholder structure. For some companies, especially in the mining industry, but you have a very clear structure. You have only fully diluted 89 million shares.
Yes.
That's really low, I must say, for this old company. Is this a very tight structure?
Well, I actually worked in the mine as a teenager, but I grew up in the world of finance. I worked on the floor of the Vancouver Stock Exchange in the 80s, worked in brokerage houses in the 90s, and I learned the importance of share structure. If you have too many shares out, it's too hard to move the stock. So I put my money where my mouth is. I'm the largest shareholder at 2 million shares. I've been building my position ever since I became president of the company in the mid 2000s. I purchased my shares. I didn't get cheap founder shares because I was 1 year old when the company was formed. So it's not possible. My father's passed on now. So he's looking down, smiling on us, and I'm sure he's going to help the drills be successful this year.
Oh, great. That's good. So to summarize everything a little bit, what are for you the three major drivers for the share price this year?
Starting up, generating free cash flow, exploration results, building the infrastructure, TSF number 2. I think everyone will be thrilled when that's completed, because then there's nothing stopping us for the foreseeable future. So we're a primary silver producer in Mexico with dozens of exploration targets. We're the most undervalued of our peer group. We've got the lowest price to net asset value of our peer groups. And I think that's just because we haven't started the mine yet. So once all this stuff gets going, we expect hopefully a re-rating this year if metal prices remain where they are. We're excited about that. We've been socially responsible with community engagement. 90% of our labor force comes from the local communities, so they're very loyal people. And our balance sheet has grown. So since the mine closed, we're in a stronger financial position, believe it or not, because warrants got exercised and we sold off remaining concentrates. So we've got a strong balance sheet. We're a very liquid stock, trades over 1 million, 1.3 million shares a day on the NYSE. Not as many in Canada, but we're working on that. So a long track record as well.
Mm-hmm. You have a very interesting project, but do you also look to other projects?
Just in the local vicinity, because we have a milling processing facility. So we've rolled out the welcome mat to other developers if they want to have us look at processing ore for them and it's viable. We're interested in looking into that. But other than that, we've been spinning out assets. We spun out the Braylorn mine in late 2019. We're the second or third largest shareholder of that company, Talisker. So now we've completely eliminated holding costs, risk, and have exposure to the upside in their stock. And then we have 2 properties in Durango that we're spinning out to a sister company. We're waiting for the exchange to approve it. It's a junior, and it's called Silverwolf, SWLF. And we expect the exchange to approve that transaction. It'll be an option agreement where this little company can earn an interest in those properties by spending money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's also positive that we get news flow from this side too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
David, thank you. I think this was a great update. It was short, really sweet, but it's come to the point. Then in the end, this is, I think that was the shareholder is interested for. Is this now the right time to buy? One last personal question. What do you think about the market?
Well,
especially the research, the metal price market.
I'm happy with the metal prices. Obviously, like to see them go higher, but we can generate free cash flow at current prices. So we're happy with where it's at now. It's an interesting time with these gaming stocks and these other ones flying high. But I like the fact that retail investors are coming in and helping support companies and trapping some of those hedge funds, making them squeezing them. So it's helping us. It'll help retail stocks that get leaned on by these guys, and so I think it's a positive shift in the market.
Yeah, but sometimes it's crazy when you see that you have these big hedge funds, and then they get squeezed by retail guys. It's unbelievable. It was impossible to think it is 20 years ago. It was unbelievable. But also I'm interested. I'm a little bit shocked. I have other company and not in the resource sector, and now I'm looking there. There's plus 100% today. But there's now it must be a $1 billion company. So it's unbelievable what's happened. 100% plus. It's
people need to be careful.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster.
On this side, I must say really, and the resource stocks are for this, I must say, really undervalued. That's
absolutely
a big disconnect between these high roller stocks and the retail business. I think the resource business.
I think the macro picture will elevate metal prices in the medium term. I think over the next year or two, we're going to see precious metals trend higher. So, people should be exposed to those metals. Owning Avino.
That's the point. David, thank you for the update. Good luck, and hopefully next time we will see us in person.
My pleasure. Thanks, Joan. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Perfekt, thank you. Ja, das war ein Update von Avino und sehr spannendes. Also erstens mal, die Mine ist momentan zu, was in Covid-Zeiten nicht wirklich ein großes Problem ist. Sehr spannend ist, sie sind mit wo kommt der Newsflow her? Das erste ist, sie haben die Mine geschlossen. Die Mine wird jetzt wieder ist gerade wieder im Aufmachen. Sie haben dann auch einen Streik gehabt. Mit dem Streik ist alles finalisiert. Es muss jetzt nur mehr approved werden vom Government und dann ist es eigentlich durch und jetzt wird quasi die Mine wieder angefahren. Spannende ist, sie erwarten 2,4 Millionen Unzen heuer Produktion. Allerdings soll die Mühle erst im März starten. Das heißt, eigentlich kann man sagen, arbeiten sie nur 10 Monate, sollen aber trotzdem 2,4 Millionen Unzen Produktion sein. Und die haben sie Durchschnittskosten $16. Das heißt, bei $26 machen die eine richtig schöne, fette Marge. Was extrem spannend ist, sie sind rausgekommen mit einer Ressourcenupdate, 60% Steigerung von der Ressource, das ist 25 Jahre Minenleben, was sie jetzt haben. Und das besteht allerdings nur in quasi 2 oder beziehungsweise 3 Bereiche. Und diese 3 Bereiche sind nur, und das sehen Sie hier an dieser Grafik schön, nur Teilbereiche. Sie haben hier San Gonzales, hier haben Sie die Avino, die alte, dort ist die Ressource her, plus die Tailings, was Sie haben, das nur mehr aufarbeiten. Sie haben 2 Bohrgeräte, gehört einer selber, und da bohren Sie jetzt quasi auf diese anderen Strukturen. Und da kommen wir auch schon, was treibt die Aktie, was könnte die Aktie treiben? Das ist der Newsflow, was wir erwarten, das ist Update, also die Wiederaufnahme der Produktion, bohren, das heißt Drill Results, und dann haben wir auch noch gesprochen, was haben sie denn noch so, und er hat dann so im Nebenbei ihm erzählt, dass sie ja die alte Pralor-Mine Spin-off gemacht haben und sie dort Anteile haben, das heißt von dort könnte der positive Newsflow kommen, und sie haben noch 2 Projekte in Mexiko, wo sie ein Earn-in-Agreement mit einer Junior Company machen, und auch dort könnte natürlich ein positiver Newsflow herkommen, und das sind quasi sozusagen 4 Streams vom Newsflow, die Aktie massiv treiben könnten, und das ist eigentlich spannend, und er hat gesagt, sie sind die billigste Aktie, wenn Sie die Peer Group anschauen, von allen. Und das liegt wahrscheinlich daran, weil sie jetzt noch nicht in der Produktion sind. Und Sie sehen jetzt hier nochmal den Chart. Die Aktie hat eigentlich nicht schlecht performt. Also, but when I look at your chart is it's performing well the last 12 months. It looks great.
It's the leverage to silver.
It's the leverage to silver. Ja, das ist eindeutig der Hebel zum Silber. Die Aktie hat gut performt und trotzdem ist es jetzt eigentlich die billigste Aktie im Verhältnis zur Peer Group. Und wenn sie natürlich dann wieder produzieren und eine gute Marge dabei haben, steht die Aktie natürlich dann woanders. So ist zumindest die Theorie, wenn uns die Börse nicht irgendeinen Streich spielt, weil die dreht momentan total am Rad, weil dort sind Bewegungen von 100% und mehr gleich drinnen. Ja, das war's. Ein Update von Avino, Silber and Gold. David Wolfin im Jänner 2021, diesmal nicht in person, sondern leider übers Internet, weil Covid das eben verhindert hat. David, thank you for your update. It was a great one and good luck and see you next time, hopefully really in person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.